I hope you're in it for quite some time because this one is going to be a long one. Hello guys, welcome to the channel, the Eradicator, and in this video we are going to take a guess at what is going to come to Star Citizen in the live servers this year in 2022. We're about a week away from the next roadmap update, which hopefully is going to be a big one, but we still can have an idea of what the devs are working on thanks to the progress tracker. Progress tracker. That doesn't mean anything. Thanks to the progress tracker. And so we're going to check out all of the items that are being worked on this year, talk about them, and see when we could perhaps expect to see them. So here we go, guys. And the first one that we are seeing here is the actor status tier 2, which looks at a variety of new elements such as hygiene, NPC, status tracking, multiple bytes, DNA integrity, medical insurance, cybernetic limbs, and cloning. This is a task that was on the roadmap a while. It was taken off the roadmap the release view, but on the deliverables, it says that the work is going to complete by the end of Q3 2022. This is going to be the famous pooping update, which is going to make players take showers and go to the bathroom as well. Something that some players are really not looking forward to. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's going to be fun. And anything that involves eating, drinking, more immersion is sure it can be kind of a constraint, but at the same time, you know, it's also a device that helps us believe that we are really characters, really people living in that breathing universe that is Star Citizen. So that's why personally I'm looking forward to it. Next, after that, well, we are going to have also the Gladiator Gold Standard. This one is the Retaliator Gold Standard, sorry, also for Q3 2022. The gold standard is, of course, putting all the components outside. Everything needs to be properly interactable, right? Coming up next, after that, we have the Atc System Rewrite. I don't think this is necessarily something that we're going to see in the PU for quite some time, because this is something that took 62 weeks to complete, so a very long time. The rewrite of the Atc system, the Atc is, of course, the air traffic controller, right? To utilize a backend service, making it compatible with server meshing, which definitely makes sense, because they need to keep track of who is landing, who is taking off. There's going to be persistence for all of this, and they need to have proper ATCs that work. You get to see the ships coming in and out, opening the doors, closing the doors. It's maybe the reason why we haven't seen ATCs for a very long time at Lorville or any of the other locations. We have this generic robotic voice. And we should expect to see more of these ATCs this year, according to what we are seeing in the roadmap. We also have atmospheric pressure damage. I think that this is probably going to be for gas giants, right? The ships entering gas giants and getting deep into the gas giants. It's only relevant for Crusader, but there's going to be more gas giants in the future, including one coming up in Pyro. The Banu Merchantman is there. Work is scheduled to be completed by the end of Q2 2022. I believe that there's obviously going to be delays, something that I've talked about multiple times on this channel. I think that the Banu Merchantman is going to be out for the either CitizenCon or the big sale, the fleet, the big sale, yeah, at the end of the year, the expo. That's what I was looking for. Bug fixing and depth tech, this is obviously something that's always happening. They are also building interiors as well. Create gameplay focused layouts to fill the interiors of various buildings in landing zones. Guys, something that we've been also talking about for quite some time. Why can't we explore buildings on Macrotech at New Babbage, right, or at Area 18, or even Lorville? Well, this is something that's on the roadmap, and the devs are working on it until, at least on the roadmap, the end of Q3 2022. Very exciting to see that here. How did I not see that before? The cargo system refactor is also on the roadmap, and work is scheduled to finish early March, so in a couple of months. All of that is very exciting, but of course, that is not all. We are also going to have some commodity kiosks as well. This is going to be worked on until early March as well, converting the commodity kiosk to utilize building blocks. This will also have loading timers, which needs to be factored in when planning cargo runs. So yeah, gone will be the days when players will just simply loading cargo. The cargo will magically come into the ship. If you have a very large ship and you want to fill it with a full load of cargo like a C2 Hercules, it will take some time to load, something you'll have to worry about. Curting Tier 2 coming up at the end of quarter 3 here, which is extremely important. We already have the multi-tool, we already have the cutting attachment, which does, well, it kind of works, but it's very clunky and it's very, very long to do it in damage that opens a door of a ship, for example. But that's going to be very important for pirates to do any kind of boarding, but also to open some kind of shaft if you want to do stealth. Stealth improvements as stealth approaches or stealth infiltrations too. More derelict spaceships and points of interests. What we are having is just the very first tier, but work on those derelicts is scheduled until the end of Q3 2022 as well. Right now we only have the Caterpillar, but we should expect more ships, including, for example, the Starfarer. That would be great to have a Starfarer, or maybe a C2 Hercules. You know, some of the ships that right now don't have any derelicts deserve to have some new derelicts. It would be nice to have some of these newer, larger ships. I think that it would bring definitely some kind of novelty that we haven't seen in a long time. Destructible environment, also for Q3 2022. At least the work is finishing in Q3 2022. And this feature will allow individual pieces of foliage to be destroyed. It can also be used to populate a destruction map to record data about an ecosystem destruction for whatever purpose they have. You know, obviously when they are going to be testing new environments for future star systems, that's also going to be a great tool for them as well. Next, the Drake Corsair. Guys, the Drake Corsair is actually on the roadmap in the deliverable. It is the work is supposed to be finishing by Q3 2022. Seems like we are maybe going to see it during the Citizen Con. That would be wonderful. Can you imagine the Corsair being the star of Citizen Con this year, right? Plus, on top of that, well, it makes sense if you look at the anti-cheat panel, the anti-cheat picture you have in the anti-cheat that when you start the game. It's a Corsair, right? It's not even in the game, but it's on the picture, so makes sense. The Cutlass Gold Standard, which I thought had already happened, is actually going to be happening at the end of Q3 2022 too. The Vulture is also there, not a surprise. They want to release it by the end of Q1 2022. Dynamic events, guys. Continued work on backend support for dynamic events, such as, for example, we had the Ninetales Lockdown and Jumpdown V2 and the Genothreat. We're going to have Genothreat V3 in Star Citizen Alpha 3.16.1, and I think that that's the work we are seeing on the roadmap. Work is supposed to be finishing by late February, early March, so there's probably going to be a couple of play tests on the live servers that are going to be part of that work. The next one is extremely exciting, guys. Dynamic population. All milestones that need to be passed in order to implement dynamic populations in various locations around the verse. We haven't seen NPCs that fly around the verse for a very long time. The last time was Star Citizen Alpha 3.5 when we had R-Corp, and then they removed them. I hope that that's what this implies. There are no further details for that. Ecosystem enhancements. Oh, the ecosystems need to have some improvements. It doesn't make sense to see plants, for example, on Daymar or Yela, right? Enhancing the realism of plants and animals in their aspects and behaviors to better immerse them in their respective environment. Work, again, that is going to be scheduled for Q3 2022. It seems like if everything goes to plan, Q3 2022 is going to be an exciting release. Looks like it, at least, right? Next, we have Eva Tier 2, which was on the roadmap, removed from the roadmap, put back in the roadmap multiple times. This one is for Q2 2022, the end of the work there. Not a big fan of AVA, but this is something that is probably going to be useful for boarding operations in space. The Fire Extinguisher, one of Jared's favorite upcoming features. Work is coming up and it is scheduled to be finished by the end of February. It's going to be very important if you have a fire in your ship, obviously. We are going to have extra type of ammunition. These are going to be flak ammunitions, and these we talked about in the previous roadmap update, scheduled for the middle of Q3 2022. FPS devices Tier 1. While throwable and consumable devices already exist within Star Citizen as grenades and make pens, further work on this system will enable us to work more easily to create new items with different effects when used. This includes the development of deployable devices or items that can be carried around as part of a player loadout, equipped and deployed onto a surface. Maybe we're talking about mines that we'll be able to deploy, or maybe different types of grenades that would also be great as well. Some smoke grenades maybe to distract enemies would also be quite nice as well. Smoke grenades, sound grenades, things that we see in other games or in other FPS games, definitely. FPS radar and scanning, something that we don't have in the verse right now, but we definitely do. It would be very useful to do that for our FPS missions, and this is coming at the end of Q1 2022, or at least work is scheduled to be finished at the end of Q1 2022. Let's have a look at what's happening next. Apparently, it seems like Gen 12 Renderer Tier 1 is, after 57 weeks of work, the work is scheduled to be finished at the end of, at the early stages of February. So if they can implement that into the game, we should also see some significant performance upgrades, which would be nice. In case you cared, the Greycat PTV Gold Standard is also scheduled for the first quarter of this year, and work will be finished in the middle of February. Hacking Tier 0 here is also used to be on the roadmap. I think it's gone. But anyway, work is scheduled to be finished by the end of April here. And this is going to be the all backend text that is going to be related to creating the first pass of hacking features that will be used in future locations and mission updates. We are going to have, so this is going to be hex tools here. This is just for the devs, so not much, not so interesting. Incendiary ammunitions that will create fire, basically a new type of ballistic projectile that burns on impact, causing the target to take damage over time and potentially causing items to catch fire. This is coming by the end of Q3 2022 as well, but that's why we need the fire extinguishers, which are going to be ready before. I don't think they're going to release the fire extinguishers before, because it doesn't make any sense to release the fire extinguisher if you don't have any fire. So that's why they will finish the fire extinguisher first, but it's not going to get into our hands until we're going to have things that do cause fire, though. Jump points. Jump points. A requirement for pyro work is scheduled to be finished by the end of Q3 2022 as well. Again, hinting that the target for CIG to release Star Citizen Alpha 4.0 is this year, and hopefully for CitizenCon. Usually they do release major new updates for CitizenCon. I remember back in the days, I think 2017, or 2018, when we had Star Citizen Alpha 3.0, major CitizenCon as well. All right, next we have Lavatech, which is also going to be important, especially for some of the moons of Pyro 5, and that is the work is going to be completed by the middle of March this year. We are also going to have the Levski Hospital interior locations ended up in February. Life support Tier 0. Now, this is important because we don't really have life support in ships right now. This is going to implement the first iteration of onboard life support systems in ships, which entails ship components that generates air when turned on, and management of said life support components within the vehicle loadout manager. Very important. I mean, right now, when you are in a ship, you close your door, you can breathe with no helmet. Now, in the future, if your life support is gone, you will have to get a spacesuit. Otherwise, you will die. And it will be very interesting to see how this is going to work, because there will be situations in which NPCs or players will not have their spacesuits on, but the life support will be damaged, or the air will be breached, and they'll be dying because of that. And that's going to be a wonderful gameplay, maybe a good way to kill some people as well, or to elaborate new strategies too. Lockable containers, very important too, if you want to be putting things inside containers which are going to be able to be hacked as well. This is coming up in Q3 2022. Lots of Q3 2022 loot generation here. Also, for the end of Q3 2022, this system deals with the generation of lootable containers through the world, their content and how they can be accessed and broken in. Hopefully, this is going to be also bringing more interesting loot, because right now, well, there's nothing. Sometimes you have a rare item like a grenade launcher, maybe. But that's about it. We need to have more. Next, multifunction display rework. They do need a lot of rework indeed. And we will both rebuild ship MFDs with our new building blocks UI technology. Yeah, right now they're still using Flash, right? To make them more customizable, better matched the ship's aesthetics as well. They kind of all look similar, right? So it would make sense if each ship manufacturer has MFDs that look bespoke to that ship manufacturer. I think that this would be a wonderful touch indeed. The Hull E is coming up, at least work is coming up this year. Hull D, Hull E, they're working on those ships as well. The Hull D in February, the Hull E work is scheduled to be finished in May. The Odyssey as well, but probably there's still going to be more to do for the Odyssey. I can't imagine that it's going to be releasing in Q2 2022, but they say that work is finishing in Q2 2022, right? So, interesting. Maybe it's closer than we think, right? Next, we are going to also have, this one's important, guys, the Mission Manager app. Alongside converting to building blocks, this feature includes an updated UI in support of the dynamic mission system that's probably going to be working in symbiosis with Quanta as well. This includes the ability for players to see the reputational requirements of mission content. Does that mean that we'll be able to see the missions, but the missions will not be available, and they will tell us why they are not available and what we need to do for those missions to be available? Because right now, that's exactly what's happening. We have potential missions that we want to do, but they're not appearing in the wheel glass. We don't know why, and that's because they are locked behind some kind of reputation wall that we are not aware of. So if this could be giving us clues as of what needs to be done, that would be wonderful, in my opinion. Next, we have the Npc Scheduler Service. Oh my, it was supposed to be released last year, if you guys remember this one, but unfortunately delayed, and there seemed to be needed a lot of extra work here, and it seems that on the roadmap, work is going to be finished early September. The Npc Scheduler is meant to add and remove NPCs to the game, dynamically spawning them into and out of the verse. That is also something that is required for Quanta. Because the Quanta, is that simulation made by Tony Z that is going to be simulating the verse, right? And without those backend tools, there is no Quanta, so it definitely makes sense. The Nix system, guys. Planet, mission setup, completing the initial foundational work needed to implement the Nix system into the game. Work is scheduled to be finished by the end of June. People are saying that maybe we're going to have a surprise this year. Not just Paro, but Nix as well. Probably, I can't imagine a CitizenCon demo when Star Citizen Alpha 4.0, if everything goes well, of course, right? If server meshing is ready, they're going to be showing the next CitizenCon demo. Obviously, will be Paro, and then surprise, we're going to Nix. I think that this would be absolutely amazing. People are saying that this could perhaps happen, and I don't see why it wouldn't happen. The 600i gold standard for the month of August is there. The Origin X1, the Origin hoverbike that comes with a 400i. This one is coming up. At least work is going to be starting early next month, and it will continue all the way through the end of June. Coming up next, we have some really juicy items. This one is the Outpost, Homestead, Independent, and Outlaw. People are saying, of course, we've seen that for the demo of CitizenCon, right, when we saw Pyro, a small home for AI to live and shelter. They consist of central hub and a few optional internal and external modules that provide the basic necessities to support a small group of people for an indefinite amount of time. I can't imagine that these are going to be just for the Pyro system. Of course, there will be no reason to put them in Stanton as well, and I hope to see them in Stanton if Pyro is not coming this year, because they look absolutely phenomenal. The same goes for the Outpost theme variants here. They're going to add variants such as Colonialism Outpost, which allows to create different points of interest in the world. Themes will range from abandoned, mining, research, and many more. Right now, every single outpost look kind of like the same, but with the work that was done here, hopefully we should see some different variety. Persistent Hangar. I know that this was already done, right? They are hoping to release this in 3.17, but work was finished by the end of December, so that's pretty good to see. Persistent server meshing, guys. Persistent streaming and server meshing work is scheduled to be finished by the end of Q3 2022. Again, indicating that if everything goes well, that's going to be it. It will be ready for CitizenCon, or at least if there are some delays, maybe for the end of the year or early next year. We are getting closer and closer with each month passing, closer to Star Citizen Alpha 4.0, which is going to be the very beginning, in my opinion, of Star Citizen becoming a game, and I can't wait for that. Personal inventory. We've already had a first glimpse of the changeaway of inventory with Star Citizen Alpha 3.15, but this says that when implemented, players will physically store weapons, gadget, consumables, healing items, and more on their person and in vehicles via backpacks, pockets, and containers. This utilizes the new iCache for persons wherever player travels. There's still work. This was originally released in 3.15, but there's still work being done for personal inventory, and this work is going to be done by the end of this quarter. I cannot wait to see how this is going to improve. Next, plasma ammunition. Since we're gonna have fire ammunition, why not plasma as well? I can also see that causing some fire, right? Further work on this damage will cause further cost on this damage type will cause damage over time to actors, vehicles, and ships. Larger weapons of this type will also leave behind a hazard, causing further damage to anything in close proximity, probably fire, right? This will fulfill the original vision we had for the plasma weapons we already have in game, and those we have planned for the future. That's very exciting indeed. Next, we have more player interaction experience, hints and interactions. I'm not really excited for those. We're going to have lockers and inventory as well for Q3 2022, as well as improved visor, HUD, and helmet. The helmets used to be better in previous iterations of Star Citizen, and they got pretty bland with just no. They are not hiding any field of vision, right? You have a perfect field of vision, but it wasn't the case in previous helmets before, and that's the reason why, for example, I remember the old versions of Star Citizen. I would rather have medium helmets over heavy armor, because the heavy armor would cover some part of my field of vision, but the medium one would cover less. And I hope that we're going to see more of that in the future. Player reflection. In case you were wondering what you look like in the mirror, this work will be done early Q3 2022 as well. The Pyro space stations, again, indicated that they are really working on Pyro, trying to get something done for CitizenCon. This work is going to be completed according to the roadmap for Q3 2022. The Pyro system, planet, and mission setup here is going to be completed very soon in February. So we're getting closer here. Next one, oh my goodness, quantum simulations here. Revealed at CitizenCon 2019, the quantum simulation will serve as the background economy for Star Citizen. Thousands of unseen simulated entities will carry out trade, commerce, piracy, and security to populate and inform other game systems. Work is scheduled to be complete for Q3 2022 as well. A very busy month, that month of September, before the arrival of CitizenCon. Definitely that is going to be a very interesting CitizenCon if everything goes to plan. The quantum travel experience, guys. Quantum travel needs some work. They're going to be updating quantum travel mechanics to move players in a more physically realistic way. Right? It doesn't make any sense the way quantum travel works, especially when you are tracking bounties. When you look at them when they're in quantum travel on the star map, you cannot really predict where they're going. Right? So hopefully this is going to be a little bit better. They're also going to be improving how spooling and calibrating is going to work when it comes to the quantum drive interdictions, as well as entering and exiting the quantum drive. Coming up next, we have Rastar. Rastar, I don't know if you guys remember, but this is going to be the program that's going to allow us to build our own outpost using the Consolidated Outline Pioneer, and the work is also scheduled for Q3 2022 as well. But the Pioneer is not on the roadmap though, so I guess that they're still gonna need a lot of time to adjust it, with their own inner simulation back at the studios until they feel that it is ready for players to use. Next, we have some roads. Oh, guys, that one is, for me, that's a big one. They're going to adapt the existing terrain deformation and river tech to create road tooling and visuals, allowing designers to add roads into game environments. Please, CIG. That is one of the reasons why I almost never use ground vehicles, because there are always rocks, and the terrain is just makes me sick. It gives me nausea. But if we have roads going from one place to another with a ground vehicle, it's going to be more sense. Maybe sometimes you need to go to an outpost and you're gonna get detected if you get a starship. So a stealthy approach with a ground vehicle would perhaps be the solution. A little drive, a 30-kilometer drive, let's say, from one place to another, would be quite exciting, I think, especially given how beautiful, gorgeous, those the environments in Star Citizen are. It would definitely make sense. The Scorpius is on the roadmap. Of course, it is for Q2 2022, as well as Salvage, which here they said that the work is going to finish by the end of Q1 2022. The release is for Star Citizen Java 3.18. So that's the Q2 patch, but there's obviously going to be a lot of polish to do so that players can finally be happy with that game mechanics that they've been asking for such a long time. Next, selling. Oh yeah, babe. Selling. This feature deals with the ability to sell items back to shops. Oh, how many of you guys? That's the giveaway question, by the way. It's the giveaway question. Guys, this Model Gather giveaway, I am giving away an Argo with LTI and a Spartan with LTI as well. All you have to do is to subscribe to the channel in public setting and answer the question I'm asking right now. How many times have you had your backpack full of objects that you can't do anything with, and you wished you had the ability to sell them? I think I would. And how much money do you think you would have made selling those items? I think I would have made already several millions of UEC with everything I picked from the loot boxes all over the verse, and I cannot wait for this to happen. I think it's going to make a lot of players not necessarily rich, but it's going to make to add a significant amount of income, including players who have a basic ship like an Aurora, but they have a backpack, and they'll be able to put a lot of stuff that they find inside that backpack and sell them at the various outposts. It's definitely going to be a huge boost for a lot of people, and this work is going to be finished according to the roadmap by the early February of this year, so coming up really soon. Next, we are going to have ship-to-ship refueling, and it seems like this was confirmed recently on Spectrum by who was Xylo, that it is still on the roadmap and still scheduled for Q1 2022. Something that a lot of people are waiting for, including my buddies at Altima Energy. Thinking of you, Sigillian. Next, we are going to have Space Mines. Now, I'm not not really excited about this, but because I've never liked spacemans in a space game, but it's part of space games, so I totally understand. And there's a ship dedicated to that, of course. It's the Nautilus, right? And here they say that in space, players in certain ships will gain the ability to release different types of spacemans in a coordinated fashion in an attempt to trap damage and capture enemies or set up defensive parameters. I haven't seen the Nautilus in the roadmap, but obviously it makes sense that then to have the spaceman first, and they're definitely going to be working on that. Maybe the spacemans will be first placed, manual placed by CIG, and then after the Nautilus is ready, they will allow players to be putting those spacemans in the verse. I think that it makes sense. We have Vulture. We have Vulture Spacescaping, but that is all for Squadron 42. This was already done in the verse. Let's have a look here. A couple of very few items. It's the end of the roadmap already. Terrain snow displacement here, which is going to implement the tech required for impressions in the snow when a person or vehicle impacts or travels over snowy terrain, which especially on Microtech, it can snow a lot. Let's imagine you're surrounded by a meter of snow. You definitely want that, and especially in the future, when you'll be tracking bounties, maybe it will be great to track enemies or maybe creatures. Since creatures will be roaming the verse as well. It will be fantastic to be able to track those creatures just by following the path that they are making through the snow, for example. I can't wait for that as well. Theaters of War missionless support, guys. Ongoing art design and engineering tasks to support the Theaters of War game mode. This work is supposed to be finished by the end of Q2 2022. Does that mean that Theaters of War is coming? Probably not. A lot of people think that Theaters of War has been settled, and with Fire Sprite being sold to I think PlayStation or to Sony, I have no idea if we'll ever see a Theaters of War. Has it gone back internally into into the Cloud Imperium games? It would be great for CIG to communicate a little bit more on that. The tracking app, guys. This one also coming up in Q2 2022, in the middle of May. A mobiGlas app that displays the player's history of criminality and helps them understand the laws of the various jurisdiction. Not too exciting, but I suppose for bounty hunters and maybe new players, this can be quite exciting. Here we have some unannounced content as well for June 2022. A couple of unannounced features, actually, quite a lot of unannounced features. Look at that, unannounced. No. Wow, so many unannounced features. I suppose that we're gonna have to be patient and wait. Maybe some interesting surprises, ships maybe that are coming up, or maybe just for Squadron 42, but they said that the game is Star Citizen and not Squadron 42, so I guess that we'll have to be patient. Maybe they will be showing these unannounced features during the May sale. There's a May, right? Invictus Fleet, which is happening it's kind of a big sale event, actually. CIG is really counting on it a lot, so maybe it will have some more interesting there. Xi'an Cargo, this is a Squadron 42 item, but it's quite exciting here, giving us some indication that we are probably going to be seeing the Xi'an in Squadron 42 as well. Construction and implementation of interior and exterior approved concepts. Very nice indeed. And last but not least, 0G push and pull, something that was on the roadmap and was eventually delayed all the way to 3.18. This is going to add the ability for the players to traverse surfaces in 0G by pushing and pulling with their hands. This will come into play when the players is wearing an EVA suit without thrusters, or if the thrusters is turned off. And that is all for the items that are on the roadmap that CIG are working on. Hopefully we're gonna see a lot of them. I am so excited, guys, when I see this roadmap and the different possibilities that it may bring to us, the players. But let me know in the comment section down below, guys, which one are you most excited about? Obviously there's going to be a server meshing, so we're going to exclude the server meshing and quanta. I think for me it's roads. I like roads. I want to do road trips in Star Citizen. I don't care so much about the Daymar rally and going, because it just makes me sick. But if we have roads, then that would open so much more possibilities, and we could have some real racing, I don't know. let me know in the comment section below. Oh, it's been a long video, guys. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Also, speaking of giveaways, I forgot, but if you want to support me the extra mile on Patreon or via the YouTube John membership program, we also have a Cutlass Steel. Thanks to Dr. Fobin, who has been amazing supporting this channel for months now. Dr. Fobin, thank you so much. Thank you so much to Eric Owen as well. Yeah, people who support me on Patreon or via the YouTube John membership program will have access to my Discord channel where this one is taking place. All right, guys. Well, that's all for this video. It's been a long one this time, but I hope that this gave you a little insight of what we should be expecting for this year, especially for this CitizenCon that's coming up in September/October. Guys, I wish you a wonderful day. Take care, everyone. It's the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later. A huge shout out to everyone who's been helping me out on Patreon and via the YouTube Join membership program. Creating content on YouTube involves continuous circles of ups and downs, and it is when we are the lower parts of the curve that your help really motivates me to keep on going. Your contribution really does make a difference, which is why in return I try to give back by offering backers access to my private Discord channel, automatic access to exclusive giveaways, or answering your questions during the show. You can help me out with as little as $1 a month, and any help is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for watching again. This is the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later.